podcast before. Again, this is HBR. We're live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We talk about your local real estate news, and also nowadays it's national news when it comes to real estate. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself first, and then we'll let everybody else introduce themselves, and we'll jump right into the topics.
Hey, thank you. My name is Jen Perez, and I am the broker of Texas Skyline Properties. You can find me on Instagram at JenTex the Broker, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here with us.
I mean, I don't want to talk a lot. I mean, I could continue telling you my life story.
That's the whole
but
point. We're going to get into that before we get into the
Right.
topic as soon as everybody else has introduced themselves. So go ahead, Flor.
Flor Velasquez with Lionsgate Realty. You can find me on all my social medias, Flor Velasquez Realtor.
My name is Nathan Valderas. I am the master broker for Lionsgate Realty. You can find me in all my social media outlets at Better Call Nate.
And of course, I am Giovanni Frank, your local Houston realtor and your gracious host of the HBR podcast, live here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And we're going to jump right into it. I want a little bit of your background because today's topics kind of do pertain to a little bit of what you've done in the past. You, in the messages that you sent us to introduce yourself, you kind of said that you were working in legal before this. Kind of give us a breakdown of how you went from there into real estate and becoming a broker.
Sure. So, well, after some time, I was it was like an executive assistant somewhere, and that company closed. So I was trying to look for a change in a career, and there was an attorney that was hiring. So I started working with him. He practices entertainment law, business law, and real estate law. As I was getting into it, I was very interested, and I said, this is the career that I want to take. So I went and I got my bachelor's in legal studies. I was preparing to go to law school, and then after the 2008 financial crisis, in the times where I was seeing a lot of people foreclosure, my brother, who's also a real estate broker, my Texas Realty, he said, you should get your license. There's a lot of business that's going on right now. So I said, okay, I'll do it. So I got my real estate license, and I started doing real estate. I was doing investing. I've been doing it for a long time, around 2019, right before the pandemic. I decided to get my broker's license, and then I started my firm in 2020. And that's where I'm at now.
Okay, awesome. So you're a broker. Is your brother a broker as well? Or
Yeah,
no?
he's a broker. He's been doing it a lot longer.
Are y'all in the same company or separate?
No,
Okay.
that's what we were talking. We're friendly competition. I mean, he's on the other side, but it's okay.
Okay, no problem. So that's awesome. Today we do have two brokers on the podcast, and I think it's perfect to discuss these topics that we have. And the first one is the REX versus Zillow. So for those of you who don't know, REX had got into it with Zillow a while back, whenever Zillow had become a broker, saying that by them taking off their listings, which pretty much what they do is really for sale by owner listings on their website, and Zillow was sharing those on their MLS platform before they became a brokerage. But once it became a brokerage, they had to display the commissions, right? So there was a whole argument there, and now the DOJ said, you know what, we can go back and revisit this, and they think that REX might win this. What do you guys think about that, and how could that affect the real estate industry, if at all?
Well, I think if the DOJ, the Department of Justice, gets involved, I mean, they weren't even a party to the lawsuit. When they start getting involved, I think that a lot of the courts, they do take that into consideration. And that's what's the danger of it, whenever you have the DOJ getting involved in stuff that doesn't have them as a party in the suit. So, I mean, I feel like REX most likely will.
Who do you think has more of a claim to this? Do you think REX is in the right or Zillow's in the right, saying that they want to keep it separate?
So, I mean, I might not have the popular opinion. I think they're in the right. I think that everybody should be equal. I think it should have everything, all the listings together, whether they offer it or not. I mean, it's not the popular vote, but I feel like that it should.
I don't believe in equality. I think that if you have something or there is a way that you can get ahead, that you should. That's what this country is based on, right? But I do believe that once Zillow became a broker, they had to play by different rules. and in my opinion, they didn't. They kept getting away with they kept getting away with all the garbage they were doing. And once again, I said this in the last podcast, was that, NAR essentially sold itself out to Zillow. And so Zillow has had access to all of our MLS for years and has essentially sold us back our own listings. And when they became a broker, I thought, oh man, they shot themselves in the foot. But NAR didn't come down on them and nobody did. They were just kind of business as usual, Another thing too, and
because they're rooting to the same side.
Yeah, definitely. And so once again, NAR is huge. NAR is very powerful in Washington. A lot of people don't know that. So whatever back deal they have with Zillow is stronger than all the realtors combined in the association, right? And so I always tell people, look, this here is something that has to get fought out in the courts now. Unfortunately, the realtor is getting a bad name for a company that has really never been for the realtor from the beginning. And all I tell people to do is, hey, look out where Zillow is looking at next. Well, Zillow just, not just, they've acquired, I think last year they acquired Dot Loop. So now they have all that information. What's going to happen next? Yes, all this is happening, but what can we do about it? Nothing. Let's see where Zillow is about to step next, or where it's getting into next before the DOJ finds it, and us collectively as realtors, as professionals, let's make a stand for that, and make changes according to that,
I mean, I completely agree with you on the whole Zillow part. That's why I was saying that I believe REX should have the same rights and the same way to promote. Like if Zillow is going to grab the information from this website and this website, there shouldn't be a division. Mm-hmm. Should all be together. That's mainly what the lawsuit is about. That they're trying to say that there's no fair competition.
Well, I believe.
So here's the thing, right? And then I'll let Nate
go ahead.
If quote unquote, there's no fair competition. The thing is that for sale by owners are not held to the same standards that a realtor who's licensed or even a brokerage is held to that, right? So the reason why they separated was because originally they didn't want no commingling where there wasn't licensed people versus people who were licensed, because then that can cause an effect to the consumer at the end, right? But now, since a realtor has got such a bad name because of these last few lawsuits that happened, now they're saying, you know what, we're just going to let everybody have free game to the MLS and the platform, and it should be commingled if you have a platform that shows properties with MLS. And I think that can actually hurt the consumer more, maybe not even necessarily the realtor, because the realtor, what's going to end up happening is that these buyers are going to go in there, they're going to find the house, and they're going to see that they're not paying for representation, and now they're saying, oh, well, it's out of my pocket, and now it's just an extra job that the realtor has to do, which is okay. Right, make your realtor work.
It's going to happen anyways.
Yeah, it's going to happen anyways. But it could fall bad on somebody who can't afford representation. And now right away, the first thing they're looking at is somebody who's just selling them a house for sale by owner. And I mean, especially in the Hispanic communities, how many horror stories do we hear about for sale by owners?
Oh, man, it's nuts. Yeah. It's nuts. But
that's more me on the consumer side, but go ahead.
But, I was going to go to that too, that Rex, or, that it's a for sale by owner. I don't know if you remember for sale, FSBO.com, they used to have a whole website. I remember back in the days. And
I believe it's still up.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought they went out of business. And the thing was that it's once again, you have a company that has never been a friend to the realtor, which is Zillow. And then you have a company that is essentially circumventing the realtor, right? Going at it. What does NAR and realtors have to do with any of this? That's the question. Well, once again, there's back-end deals that are happening at the Washington level, and so I think that honestly, as realtors here locally together, we should get together and say, hey, you know what? Because there's other states that do this. We should get together and say, hey, you know what? Nobody can sell a house without representation. or I mean, even locally, if somebody,
I think Louisiana has that law.
is it Louisiana?
I think it's Louisiana.
If
yeah.
somebody does a crime, even a court knows to give them a court-appointed attorney. You know what I mean? So I think that they should do a law where nobody can buy or sell a home without an attorney, without representation, without licensed
proper
representation.
That's where it's going to a little bit,
Yeah.
because even with the settlement, you're not going to be able to show a house without a buyer rep signed.
That's awesome.
And that's going to
I
be
love that.
part of the settlement.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard because, I mean, you know how people don't want to sign anything before they go see
I know.
something.
I know how
And now that's
Mexicans
gonna be-
don't want to sign
Yeah.
nothing.
But that's going to be that's gonna
Hispanic
be-
community.
Hispanic community.
Yeah,
Not only Mexicans.
that's going to be one of the requirements. The only reason why I say I agree with that is because what I feel would happen is that it will set a precedent for any
Yeah.
other company that would want to do something separate.
Mm-hmm.
And would want to do something where where they can't unite them,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's going to stop them, prohibit them from doing any kind of business like that.
So
That's where it would set a precedent, and that's what I feel that the DOJ is trying to figure that out.
I like that. I love that idea. But also, you have to look at the downside of that. You have a realtor, gets a buyer's rep, goes and shows homes. Not everybody gets along. I
Oh,
mean,
no.
they're not
Yeah.
going to like their realtor. And then they signed a 6-month or a 1-year buyer's rep, right? And it's like, okay, I don't want to use you. You
And
know,
that's gonna be the issue.
and then
That's
what
why-
happens?
And that's
Yeah.
why this whole settlement that's going on, these are the issues that are going to start arising.
Yeah.
Besides how you said that they're not going to want to have representation, go to the for sale by owner, they're going to, or if they have an agent or somebody who was represented wrong, somebody's going to feel like they weren't treated fairly. So there's going to be a lawsuit. Like we talked
Well,
about.
I think that's the-
lawsuits are going to arise.
I think the best deals, right, that are done is when everybody feels like they weren't treated fairly. If everybody in the deal doesn't feel like
If
they got
nobody-
screwed a little
Yeah.
bit, then it was one sided.
It's true, but the ones that go and they sue,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
But I think
That's the
that's
problem.
Spoken like a salesman.
the most right.
No,
And
I agree
I
with
always say
you.
I'm not a salesman.
Yeah, you got to give and take. But at the same time, that's going to arise a lot of issues. And that's the problem that's going to happen with the settlement.
Let me ask you this. Has anybody here ever walked away from buying a car from a dealership with a warm and fuzzy feeling?
No.
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 Do you see car dealerships getting
No.
sued?
No,
Do you
because
see
when you
car
start
dealerships
signing, you're
getting-
just like, wait a minute, this is not what you told me.
So that's exactly what's going to start happening with real estate. It's just
But
going to be
hold on.
disclose, waiver, contract. I mean, it's going to be over and over and over. It's so I don't see as many lawsuits as you do. You come from a legal
Yeah.
background, so you guys love
looks for
stirring.
lawsuits.
You
I
love
see.
stirring that
You
stuff
know,
up.
the
but,
thing is that you
but-
see things that you would never think would go into a lawsuit.
She finds the
And
needle
they
in the
do.
haystack, yeah.
And they do.
She
That's
does.
why I've seen it a lot. I mean, you probably don't hear it because they're everyday stories. You're not going to hear everything that goes on, but
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah.
Nate, but going to what you said about cars, sales people, like they're actually sales people, like compared to real estate agents.
And that's always
what-
been my pushback.
What do you think is going to happen to this industry?
Well, that's
Where
where
do
we're
you-
gonna turn.
Where do you think the realtors are going? Like right now, we had all of us up here. We had Manuel up here, right? All of us are like, who cares, right? Like we're gonna get ours, right? Why? Because we know what it takes to sell a deal. You know, we know what it takes to convince and to show value. But all the ones that don't want to do that, the ones that want to set up their bots, the ones that want to do ChatGPT, the ones that want to do a video and hope that they get 100 people in their funnel, those people are not going to make it. And so that's you're only salespeople are going to be here at the end. And the thing, the question is, where is the end of this? That's the question.
Yeah.
We could be in turmoil for another 5 years. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, I mean, this is the beginning.
Yeah.
Of course, the changes, we're not going to feel them for a few years.
Yeah, and we're just guessing.
We're
to
guessing,
how they will
exactly.
be implemented.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if you paid attention to like the actual wording that they're using. Even the DOJ, they're all like in theory, theoretically, if this happens. But I mean, there's how many
Nothing is
how many
done until
licensed
it's signed.
how many licensed agents and now what my biggest concern is that DOJ said that they're leaving this open to the point where if they see some realtors doing something wrong, they can reopen this case again.
That's the
So,
problem.
How many realtors are there who
Yeah.
don't know what they're doing? So we're just gonna continue getting hit
lot.
and hit and hit again.
Yeah.
I mean, to the point of what is NAR gonna go bankrupt? Are we even gonna be involved with NAR at some point? How many
And
lawsuits
who's
can
going
they
to pay
take?
for that?
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for that? All the members.
Are they gonna up our fees for no reason?
And, you know, and everybody's like, drop NAR, don't, you know, get out of NAR, or don't help NAR. And I'm like, man, you know what? You know, NAR is the lesser of the evil. Imagine not having anybody. I mean, at least they have a voice, you know?
Have you heard that there, and I know this wasn't brought up in our subjects, but there's a new, the Umansky, I don't know if you've heard of him. So he is getting together with another broker, another agent. They sell luxury properties. And they're trying to create another, like a NAR, but it's called America Real Estate. So they're trying to do their own MLS where they don't have to abide by those rules. So I mean, it's
Kind of like a
getting
Zillow
traction
before broker.
but it's more or less to equip. They're saying to equip the agents. So they're trying to replace NAR
I see.
because of everything that's going on.
I see something like that happening.
Yeah.
And right now is the best time to do it. All they have to do is scare them with, use HAR and be a NAR and you don't get commissions. Come over here and you get commissions. Boom, it's done.
Yeah.
There was another realtor and I think a broker who are trying to start their own company to where if you take the commission off of the MLS, well, they're going to have the commission on that website. But then that goes back to commingling, which is the DOJ and the previous lawsuit I already said you cannot do. So
wait, like they're gonna have like
there's like pretty much you got to look at another website. You take the address here, put it into this website, it tells you how much the realtor's paying in commissions.
oh, that's awesome.
Well, but they're
But
already
they can't.
cutting them.
Just
Yeah,
talking about it.
they're
Can't
already cutting them
happen.
down. Yeah.
Wow, hey, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
No,
that's
yeah,
a
like
great
they
idea.
jumped on it right
A lot of
away.
people's coming up with ideas.
Exactly, they jumped on it right away. Because I mean, that's a
Yeah.
They were trying to do the hidden messages and
exactly. And they've
You
even
can't-
said like specific wording. Like you can't even. They're going to do it to the point where you can't even say that your commissions are going to come in concessions.
Oh yeah.
Because now that's an issue because you're not being upfront and you're not disclosing. So if they catch realtors doing that, then they can open up a lawsuit again. I mean, how many
Hey,
lawsuits
you
can NAR
just
take?
said lawsuits. See, there's lawsuits.
Yeah,
that's what I
the
see.
problem.
That's what I see is
and
going
that's
on.
the problem. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, why is NAR not putting their foot down? Like I don't get it. Why are they just saying, "Oh,
right.
we don't agree that we
know
did any
what?
wrongdoing, but we'll pay"?
You know why NAR is not saying anything? Because it's kind of
Something
like
on the back end.
it's kind of like those. It's kind of like that. You do a crime and then they arrest you for having an accident. It's like, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
You
You're
do
gonna
a
be
murder and you
blamed.
get
Yeah,
manslaughter.
I mean,
you murder somebody and you just get assault charge.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll sign.
Yeah, like
Because
they're-
they don't want an
Of
investigation.
course.
They don't want
And-
an investigation.
Yeah, because what else are they going to find?
Sure.
And not only that, I mean, they're saying that because it's going to be cheaper to settle, which in the long run, as an attorney, settlement is cheaper. But at the same time, for what? Just showing, do you really represent us?
No.
Are you really for the realtor
Not
or
at
are you
all.
for yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
And again, that's my main concern, right? How much longer can they continue just to settle?
Yeah.
If they see that they're just handing out money, okay, yeah, boom.
Well, it was
How
like
much
a
longer?
trickle effect. One of them settled, the other,
Oh,
the
yeah, the
other.
lawyers see it, and it's
Yeah.
just it's a honey hole.
And
Yeah.
why is the DOJ? I mean, is there not like other crimes that are more?
Not that they want to investigate.
It was just an antitrust. The whole reason why they came in is because of the antitrust. So
Because they're against realtors.
yeah.
They're against
yeah, because
All right,
they're against salespeople right
Well,
now.
no. Realtors are not. A lot of realtors are not salespeople, but
Well, that's how they see
But
it, so.
let me ask you a question because I said this one time in another podcast, and let me ask you. I don't want to sway your opinion here, but what did attract the attention to the realtors? Do you have an idea, or what is your opinion on that?
What do you mean attractive?
What attracted the
The
DOJ's attention to realtors?
Oh, can I be honest with you?
Yes,
And
that's what I
then-
want.
Okay.
We love it, yeah.
So I don't know if you heard the president of the United States did talk about it at some point. He said
Yeah.
something about it. I believe that.
You think that's
DOJ
what started it?
I think that started it. I think that was a big influence on it, because the DOJ was nowhere near the whole thing until after.
I get that, but the thing is this, right? So if whenever the government gets mad, right? Sure, the government's mad, and there's a few people that are mad too, right? But when it comes to real estate and it comes to commission, everybody is mad at realtors, like angry. Like, how I can't believe you made this much money and your lifestyle is going away. You know, just I didn't realize how bad it is.
Well,
so
you have to remember we're in an election year, and what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is what? The first presidential debate between Biden and Trump. And what is the main concern on voters that are millennials and younger? You know what the number one main concern out of all the polls is? Not being able to afford a house. So everybody's mad about that, and they're just doing whatever it is to gather votes and be like, you know what, we're trying to fix that issue without actually fixing the issue. What we get paid is like the bottom of the issue.
If we were to count all of our hours, that commission would probably get paid like $1 an hour.
But we talked about this on your podcast, right? And you were saying that inflation and you know, all this thing, you know, what was going on. And I said, you know, when inflation happens, people's, you know, they get paid more, and people get more commission, and people get more, like everything goes up, not just prices. This is not, you know, we don't live in those days anymore, right? And then I guess you guys, you know,
I don't know,
because
he's agreeing with me.
That's not true.
He's agreeing with me.
At the way that inflation rose.
Yeah,
at the way that inflation rose. So if you look at it, if you look at it dollar per percentage, yes, the wages gain did go up with the percentage, but the value is not there for the dollar anymore. So that's the problem. That's the hurt. They're saying, yes, you know what, your pay went up with inflation, but the dollar still devalued even more
It's
than
very
inflation
minimum.
went up.
Because,
Okay.
and I'm going to talk a little bit about my husband. My
go ahead.
husband works at a software company, and sorry, hubby, he's going to be like, don't divulge the secret. But they did a pay increase, and he's like, he is the director, and he sees everybody's pay increase, and it was almost nothing. And so, and that's where I see that, geez, this is a software company. I mean, you have a lot of money, and this is the only raise that you're giving all of your agents. And I see the hard work that they put in. So hopefully they don't say anything.
I mean, you know, the way I see it is, you know, personally with my clients, you know, it's a client that is earning or was earning, I don't know, like $80,000 a year, cannot buy, like, not even do a comparison, you know, a house that they could afford.
Okay.
Last year compared to this one, even, you know, if the rate is up and down, like, not even if the rate is at the same level as last year. Okay,
inflation went up. We have inflation, right? Nobody got a pay raise or got a very small pay raise, right?
Inflation is up.
Okay.
I believe it was like closer to. Don't hold me to the fire. I'm saying these numbers wrong, but I believe it was 8%.
Okay.
And pay raises went up like 5%.
Okay, cool.
So you're still
there's a
negative.
3% deficit, right? Okay, so how many people do you know personally that didn't eat yesterday?
Oh, well, that's not a
Hold on. How many people do we know that lost their car yesterday? How many people do we know that got their house foreclosed on? All right. How many people do we know that came and said, hey, I need to borrow money because this inflation is just getting us? Nobody. You know what changed here? People lost a comfortable cushion. Okay. They were comfortable and now they're not. And now they're complaining about it. Okay. Because, yes, did I make a lot of commission? Yes. Last month I made a lot of commission. Why? Because I was working. Because I was moving, because I was doing what I was doing, and my lifestyle hasn't changed because I'm working for mine. I'm helping people here, okay? So the thing is this, can I afford the house that I want? No. The house that I want, I can't afford it, you know? But I have a nice home. I have a place to stay, you know? So that's the difference. You know, they're talking about they want to help housing and we can't afford to buy a house and we can't afford to this, you know? Maybe you can't right now. That's why there's homes for rent. That's why there's apartments. You build. Nobody wants to build. Everybody wants instant gratification, and they always want to look to somebody else to get that. Right now, they're looking to your president that you want to be elected. And that's what it is, you know?
Who is it? Just kidding. No, we won't say that.
See, the thing is, Nate, you have to remember, right? Man, I know I tend to do this as well. That's too much of a logical answer. That's not how the American public thinks. American public, all they see is 2 years ago, I could afford this. I can't afford it now. I don't care why I can't afford it now. There has to be somebody to blame. They're telling me to blame the realtor, so we're going to blame the realtor because they're earning money from not doing anything. All they're doing is showing houses, showing their backside first. Like, of course, the public's going to be mad. It's too reasonable what you said.
No, go ahead.
Americans are very emotional.
And the thing is that everything that you see on these shows where they go show these $1 million properties and it shows that commission. I mean,
it's like,
I mean, that's not here in Texas.
No.
Realtors have the love-hate relationship that the Kardashians have. People love to hate them. And it's the same thing with realtors.
But the thing is, the thing is, you know, it's
timestamp that.
I love the comparison.
Yeah, timestamp.
Yeah. So,
Hashtag.
so the thing is this, right? You know, you said 2 years ago we could afford everybody could afford a house, right? Or they can afford the house 2 years ago, not no more, right? What 2 years ago? Where were we?
The interest rate was
The
lower.
interests were like
No. Where were we?
Pandemic.
It was a pandemic, and that's the problem that nobody sees. That we were in a crisis and everybody was getting handouts. Okay, you see.
with that too.
You know what? I'm comparing this pandemic, right? And I'm not comparing it, right? What happened was awful and evil, right? When 9/11 happened, okay, the economy almost came to a halt. You know, how did the car dealership survive? Okay, nobody was talking about real estate back then. Nobody was talking about interest rates back then. Interest rates were still high. They're 7%, 8%, 9%. Nobody cared. Everybody was worried about cars. Okay. You could buy a car at a 0% interest rate in 2001, 2002. Okay. Can you do that now? You can't do that now. Why? It was a national tragedy. It's something that had happened to the nation, right? But because it was so evil and so appalling and so unbelievable, right? Nobody was in their feelings about it. They were more worried about what was happening to the world. Now the pandemic happened, and everybody feels like a you know, like it was nothing. Like, oh, we had a vacation. It was a break. You know, well, not everybody. Some people lost family. You know, but you know, a lot of people just took it as a break.
Thanks for putting that
I'm
out.
sorry. A lot of people made a lot of. Some people made more money than they've ever made in their lives. Okay, some people got most people got breaks.
A lot of money.
People got breaks in their housing. People got breaks in their job. People got breaks in everything. Okay,
Everything.
And now everybody's like, okay, back to life, back to reality. Come on, let's get to work. And now everybody's upset. And now it's the realtor's fault because a realtor freaking cleaned house in
Again,
the pandemic.
you're preaching to the choir. We understand that. We're not the problem. It's the general public is the problem. We agree. We see this because we work in this field.
Okay.
The general public has a reason to be mad right now. There's 2 proxy wars going up.
I don't
they
think
can't
so.
afford. They do have a reason to be mad.
I don't think they have a reason to be mad.
I don't think that they have a reason to be mad.
You just said
but
they did.
They're upset right now.
You just said they have a reason to be mad.
The general
to be
public
mad.
does because they're not informed.
They need to do a reality show of a real realtor.
Yes.
How they go
Yes.
and everything that they go through, the arguments that they have to have, whatever they have to have. They need to see that reality,
So,
and then they'll be more grateful.
Ryan Serhant just is coming out with a show on Netflix. Supposedly said he got into the actual, like, the inside job of what you do as a realtor. So hopefully that show shows that. I don't know when it's coming out, but I know that they signed it and they finished it. It should be coming out, I think, next month or something like that. So hopefully that shows that.
Hopefully
but
it shows some, but I mean, he's not the average realtor.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
I mean, the average realtor here in Houston, you know, all the stuff that we have to go through, how hot it is outside.
Oh my God.
But you know whose job?
Showing houses,
But whose job is that? It's the realtor's job to actually show that on their Instagram versus just the nice houses and their tight clothes. Like, they need to go and show them door knocking. Like, one of my best reels was whenever we went and door knocked in Baytown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we out there. And I'm sorry that I took y'all. And at 3 in the afternoon when it's super
That's
hot.
terrible.
I've
It
done
was-
that too.
It was actually noon. Like I was all
Yeah.
red because I get
And
up
I was in my
red.
car just driving. I was like, yeah, get off and knock.
You know, some people are nice.
He just dropped them off.
I'll pick y'all
Yeah.
up. I did like a mom dropping them off at the party. I'll pick y'all up in 2 hours.
Yeah. No, I've done that before. I mean, you get the nice people, and then you get also the people
Yeah.
that are not nice. They'll invite you in. Hey, get some water, but there's
Yeah.
some people they don't show that part.
But I've said that before too. You know, I've said that that it was all these Instagram realtors that
Yeah.
made
Yes,
everybody hate us
Definitely.
because they were out there, poppy bottles, showing all
So
these
I
things.
remember I got my license right after the pandemic. I was just telling Jen, and whenever I told like my family that I was gonna get my license or that I had gotten my license, everyone was like, "Oh, like why?" Yes, like all the family was complaining.
Oh, another one. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's
I
not-
mean, they call me names that I cannot say out here.
Yeah, it's not viewed as a profession, unfortunately, but it is.
Yeah,
It's
Most
not.
realtors don't treat it as a profession.
True.
That's the
it is
problem.
true. They got really complacent because everything was so easy, and like now that we're having all this backlash, they're gonna try to see that hey, I have to step up my game.
Well, Jen, that's a perfect segue into our next topic, which is broker bunnies. So now more than ever, that's what I like to call them, right? They're jumping around, but it's for a good reason.
Conejitos.
Yeah, it's for a good reason, right? Now we have broker bunnies, and they say that now more than ever, realtors are jumping from brokers to brokers, and they didn't mention any names on which brokerages it was in particular, but I'm guessing that it's from bigger name brands who don't have the time to focus on every single realtor, and those realtors are probably jumping onto more of a boutique brokerage within their local area. You two, as brokers in the Houston area, what do you think about that? Are you seeing that on your end where brokers are actually looking to jump into another one? And what I hear a lot from a lot of realtors is I need somebody where I feel like I hate
Yeah.
this word. We're a family, right? I hate that word because all corporations use that. Oh, we're
Yeah.
family, and then they just leave you to work, right?
Yeah.
But I hear that a lot from realtors. They're looking for somebody for more connections.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you that they are moving to a smaller boutique firm because you got that one-on-one, you have that attention, and I think that's something that lacks. You know, a lot of times that the agent goes to this big firm and it's kind of like you gotta learn on your own. It's kind of like a kid throwing them in a pool. You gotta figure it out on your own instead of teaching them how to do it. So I have to agree with you that is, and we're gonna see it more, especially now with the settlement and everything that's going on. The fear is gonna have them move from somewhere else to somewhere else, and because of the commission structure. That's going to
That
be
too.
a big thing too.
Yeah.
Because of that, because of the lawsuit that's going on, I think they have that fear and they'll do that.
So do you think that brokers are going to have more power now?
Oh yeah.
And what
I
does
think
that
so.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
does.
sure.
It does.
Yeah, and we as brokers will have to weed out the people that are not going to, that are not going to do the firm good. you know.
So that's been a big problem is that these big franchise brokers, they're just on a recruiting mission, just recruiting realtors like crazy because they make their money off of the realtors. They make money off fees. They make money. They don't care about commission splits or commission anything. All they want to do is they want to strap their uniforms and their logos onto as many realtors as they can and then throw them out there. And that's one of the reasons why they're so big on, they like hiring these teams because that team essentially it's its own brokerage within the real estate company, but once again, they're losing money. They're going to have to pay. All those companies are accountable to a board, and they're gonna have to pay back to for this settlement, and it's gonna come from the realtors. And once those realtors start paying those high fees, they're gonna start moving around to other brokerages,
You
and
see-
it's gonna be
So
tougher.
what I've seen or what I've read too and seen with colleagues and social media is that I've seen the realtors are actually now looking for what they used to hate, companies or brokerages that have a cap, because they're going to have a commission more secure that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and just talking about the settlement, I mean, the whole reason why these bigger firms got sued is they were doing something wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, and who is the ones that are going to be paying for it? Their agents.
And you know, I said that. I said, you know, Keller Williams is paying, you know, I said Keller Williams has to pay a settlement, right? I said, where are they getting that money? They're getting it from their realtors, and there's realtors walking around with these big old Keller Williams, you know, hats and T-shirts, and like, oh my God, Keller Williams is awesome. And like, really? I said, you know, I
paying for
would
the lawsuit.
have abandoned ship a long time ago. Obviously, you have an unethical company, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just my opinion. That's his opinion. That's his
Yeah,
opinion.
we have his and her opinion.
His and
Hold on the
yeah.
podcast today.
his and her opinion today. Yeah.
So, what do you guys think realtors should be looking for in a brokerage, whether they be seasoned realtors or newer realtors?
Well,
Whoever's
let's ask an agent.
Yeah, what do you think, Flo?
I mean, honestly, just somebody, you know, that it's there that you can either, you know, see your broker in front of you, have an appointment with your broker, you know, look for somebody that is accessible to you.
Yeah.
Like, no, for somebody that, you know, you're just a number to them.
Yeah. You know, Giovanni hates the word, right? Family, right?
Yeah.
I hate when companies say your family or whatever. But you know, I get it. You know, because I worked corporate for a while. You know, and I hated it. I hate corporate. It's working for a big corporation is like working for the city of Houston, right? Nobody knows what the other department is doing, right? And everybody's just, it's the politics, you know? But when I tell you, right, that everybody in my firm or in my brokerage is like family, I mean it. Some literally. And then others, you know, it's I do treat you like family. I'm gonna roast you. I'm gonna make fun of you. I'm gonna bully you. You know, I'm gonna do all that. You know, I'm gonna get mad at you, and then I'm gonna get over it because I know that you don't have the experience. You know, and you know that's when I say treat you like family. That's what I'm talking about.
You call them out.
There's even some nepotism in here. You know, like you know, Giovanni gets a lot of nepotism.
Oh, look at me, bro. There's already rumors about that, bro. Don't be saying that. Jesus.
But yeah, no. So
I mean, it's funny that you say that, right? Because we had a realtor not too long ago say that he was going to bring some of his realtors around so we could roast them. That way they could like man up in this business.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
says that, like he already knew that that's what we do.
actually, his friends didn't come because
That's
they
why
knew
they
they were going to
didn't
get
come,
roasted, right?
They should just have a night of roasting.
Yeah, we actually that's
I mean,
every night.
That's every Wednesday.
That's every Wednesday. Yeah.
Right.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Everybody and anybody can get it here.
Hey, but I get it too. I mean, I'm fair. You know, if I do something funny or something dumb, you know, I let them roast me, especially when I do a bad hire or whenever I, you know, yeah.
That is true. One came to mind, yeah.
That's why I don't hire anymore.
So I think we have enough time for one more here, just real quick. This is something that's been coming up recently, and a lot of newer realtors and also seasoned realtors, they're getting a lot of clients who did save up their money during the pandemic and didn't blow it, right? And now they want to invest into the real estate market. And realtors, well, these realtors that have been asking me questions don't really know how to guide them. Do you think that realtors should be guiding their clients on investing in real estate right now?
I want to hear you.
Only if they have the experience. Because, I mean, if you are not an investor, if you're a realtor and you haven't invested yourself, I really don't think you should be giving any kind of counsel to anybody else because you have no idea everything that can go wrong. You know, you may see it on TV, but it ain't reality. And it's somebody's money. You know, I mean, it's not just anything. And like you said, they saved.
And right now, if you do a build or a flip, you could lose your butt.
Oh.
You could lose money right now.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. They're just out there, you know, they're still getting the same, you know, because it is true. In I mean, I could even go as far as saying as the last 10 years.
Yeah.
The last 10 years, you can buy a home, remodel it, turn around and try to sell it. And the worst thing that will happen is that you will make $5,000 profit for all the time, money, and everything, and you count it as a lesson.
Yeah.
Right? Same with the build, right? Right now, you can actually get, you know, upside down. And you know, I think, you know, you guys know that I do foreclosures and stuff for a couple of hard money lenders. That's all the foreclosures that are coming through right now. There's people not losing their homes right now.
Yeah.
You know who's losing their homes? Investors.
Yeah.
Investors are losing their homes like crazy. Why? Because there's a bunch of realtors that don't even own a home, you know, driving around in a Honda, you know, showing properties and telling these people that they can, you know, have
They have a master class on
master class on
investing.
investment, you know, and unfortunately, you know, it's got. It's hard for me to guide. You know, people come to me all the time. Hey, just guide me, just help me, just whatever. I say, look, it's really tough for me because you know you don't listen, you aggravate me, and I don't need it. I don't want to have an aneurysm, you know, and so I don't want to deal with it, you know.
And then you're held
yeah,
responsible
yeah.
if something wrong happens.
And not just that. Sometimes I hire people and I tell them exactly what to do. And they say, no, but my friend said this, my buddy did this, but my neighbor said that, and then I saw this on HGTV, and I'm like, and then, you know, it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, go ahead, do what you gotta do, you know? Go ahead and put a bidet, go ahead and put freaking, you know, tray ceilings in every bedroom, go ahead and put a master bathroom a full bath in every bedroom, go ahead, do it, you know? They don't want to listen, and then when they make, you know, $10,000, you know, it's like the returns are not there, and they don't even understand returns. They don't. They don't understand ROI. They don't understand none of that. And you know, and you get these
We have
realtors.
calculators for them now on
Oh my god.
online. That's how easy it is.
And that's the biggest rebuttal I've been hearing from these realtors who come to me for advice and to guide their clients on investing is, oh, well, you know, I've been doing my research. The client tells them, oh, well, you know what, I've been doing my research. And well, I think the numbers look like this for this property and it should be this. And I tell them, okay, they're doing the research on what? They're talking to their friends who did what? 2 years ago? That's experience from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We're not in that market.
Yeah.
They're doing their YouTube videos from when? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, back again. We're not in that market.
Yeah.
They don't understand that now you have to have that cushion, especially if you're doing a flip. I don't even,
And
there's
that's
like first
firsthand.
time, first timers, I don't even think you should be doing flips
Yeah.
right now. Unless you are cash heavy and you can
And
wait
I-
that out for 4
You
to
can wait
6
it out,
months.
And
yeah.
right now I have a flip. So just talking about that, I'm experienced right now. We did a flip. We bought it in December, which the market was still good. I looked at the comps. Everything was selling. It took a little bit longer than I expected. The freeze broke a pipe. You know, all of those things that happen when you do a flip. And it's still on the market.
Yeah.
It's slowed down.
Yeah.
You know, it's the interest rate that slowed down. Now I'm going to have to lower the price. My profit's going to go down. You know, good thing I am a realtor. I don't have to. I don't have
Yeah,
to pay.
that's a cost you
the,
save
The
yourself.
cost that I save myself. But I think that you really have to think about the investing right now, and especially even off-market properties. They're going very expensive. You're not going to find anything, and even if you
have
do,
you been to the auction?
yeah, no.
Oh
yeah.
my god, that's
Yeah.
nuts. And you got people coming from Dallas, you got from other places, and
Yeah.
they're just. I'm like, I wouldn't pay for that. I mean, it was.
Man, you know what I've noticed? One of the biggest things I've noticed is a lot of these homes that are sitting on the market where they're flips, they're not local people. It's people from out of state,
From
and a
out
lot
of
of the
state.
foreclosures as well.
Yeah,
it's
all
people from
all
out
the
of state.
foreclosures, they're
Yeah.
out of state people.
Yeah.
That didn't,
Because they don't know the market.
they
And the
got-
realtor down here is just hyping
They
them up.
got
Yeah, just
lured
buy it.
in. They got lured in by a
Yeah.
realtor, and it's
It's
but-
just the market has slowed down too in some of those areas, and that's something that they need to tell.
I saw a guy that was I don't know what he was actually. It's actually on my Instagram, and he was saying there's a guy telling you that you can make $1 million over and over and over and over. Right? He's teaching you. He's charging you $20 to teach you this. Why is he teaching you to do this? Why isn't he out there doing this himself? You know? And it just sounded so simple. And I'm like, man, that just makes so much sense. Why don't people understand that? You know? And so then I said, you know what? On the flip side too, right? I've been in this business, right? I've been in this business for 20 years. Okay? I have several companies that have to do with real estate, almost all aspects of real estate. Okay, I have different companies. Okay, what am I doing? Do you see me out there flipping houses? Do you see me out there building houses? Do you see me out there doing any of these things? No. What do you see me doing? So maybe do what I'm doing. Maybe ask me what I'm doing, and I'll say, hey, do this and do that. Like why are you on Instagram paying for master classes and asking for advice on books, and reading The Art of War? The war's over, bro. This is time to gear up.
But I think that comes a lot from, like social media, that a lot of the flippers or the wholesalers, since they don't have any other way to market, like they market themselves in social media. So that's what people see in social media, and they make it seem like it's so easy. And that's how they attract like out of state clients where, they don't even know the market. They don't even know,
Yeah,
if
that's true.
the actual area moves or not, but they just buy into the idea that, oh man, the house is only $80,000 and I'm going to put 50 into it and I'm not going to be able to move it at 150
Yeah.
because the area is bad. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of the issues with out of state clients because, I mean, it happened to me. One of my clients, they fell in love with a house that they really wanted. And I explained to them, the differences. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's their decision on which house they want. But I feel like our job as a realtor, especially, if you have
Provide
somebody,
guidance.
yes, it's to provide guidance and explain, the situations. But
Yeah,
not
completely
everyone
agree.
listens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, especially if they're from out of town, more than likely they're buying cash.
Oh, yeah.
So if they're buying cash and they love the house, and oh man, it's just 400,000, they just sold their house for 8. They're like, oh, I got more than half. But what happens whenever they need to sell that property? They want to sell that property in 2 years because they don't like the area. They don't live there. Then they try to put it on the market for 420. Really, it's worth 375.
And
That's
because of fair
ridiculous,
housing,
yeah.
you can't really steer them and say this is a bad neighborhood or this is a good
Exactly. You
neighborhood.
just lay out the numbers.
You
and that's
gotta,
it.
yeah, you
Yes.
gotta kind of like go and you tell them, why don't you drive around?
My
Why
favorite
don't
thing
you
is drive.
investigate?
Yeah, drive at 7:00 at night.
Yeah.
See it
See
for
what's going
yourself.
on.
Now,
and
I'm
let
not
me know
saying
how you wanna move
I'm not
forward.
saying it's a bad neighborhood, but in my opinion, right, as a realtor or as a broker,
Would I live there?
no,
They'll ask you.
third.
That's what they've asked you. Would
Yeah.
you live there? I'm like,
I'm like, no, probably not. But you got to think about. It always comes to mind is Third Ward. Third Ward always comes to mind because if you look at it from another state and even another country, because I have clients from other
even
countries.
the word third ward.
Third Ward. they look at Third Ward, right? And if you look at the numbers, if you look at listen, if you look at the numbers, you look at the neighborhood, you look the proximity to downtown, to the medical center, to the everything that you would think a thriving community should have, it
not
looks
there.
awesome on paper from outside looking in. But if you come in and you get there at nighttime or you try to do a flip there or you try to sell it, it's a bad deal. And I always try to tell my people that. And and not just to pick on Third Ward, right? I always pick on the energy corridor, okay? Because probably about 8 years ago, I used to have a relocation, a oil and gas company that I would do relocation for, and it was a lot of people coming from like Venezuela and when Venezuela used to have an economy, and I remember that they would all come in and they all wanted to live in the energy corridor.
Yeah,
My office is right here, and there is here, and my comadre lives here, and downtown is right here, and the Galleria. Oh my God, this is a perfect place to live, right? And I said, there's a lot of because remember there used to be a lot of construction work there. I said the traffic sucks. I said the traffic sucks. Not only does the traffic sucks on I-10 to get into your area, the neighborhood you're looking at is traffic. I said you'll be stuck in traffic.
there's
Wouldn't listen to me.
construction there, like,
Wouldn't listen
even
to
now.
me. You look at the comps. The comps were awesome. Why were the comps awesome? Because everybody would move in there, live there 6 months, and move out. So it was just constant
was
sales. And when people would come, I would try to give them my expertise. They didn't want to hear it. They wanted to live there, and I had to sell them homes that were not for them.
Yeah.
And then they would call me 6 months later. Hey, I need to get out of here. Okay, come on. So
Worked out for you.
yeah, it worked out for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
all you can do is provide guidance and advice. That's it. You can't tell them should they buy or not buy.
Yeah.
As long as you tell them, you know what, this is the proper guidance for this property. This is what I think. This is what the numbers say. This is what you're looking at in the next 5 to 10 years, depending on what they're looking to do, right? And they decide to go with the property, whether it's against your opinion. It's
up to
left
them.
up to them. Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the
definitely.
things they always ask me is, where are your investment properties? Where are your rentals? And so I show them, and it is up to them.
where are they?
So I live in the Pearland area. So actually, I had a client from California, and he was doing a 1031 exchange. So he needed to really buy something, and there was a brand new subdivision, and the homes were being rented out like this. And I told him, look, my rental home is near here. This is a new project. Come and look at it. He looked at it. He bought 3 homes from there, and they're all rented out. But they ask you, but that's what I'm saying. Unless you are an investor, unless you have experience, or you know the area very well, because you don't have to be an investor, but if you know the area
Know the
really well,
numbers.
know the numbers, then you give that counsel.
And we talked about this on your podcast, and what we were saying was that, Texas is huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Houston is big.
Oh yeah.
Houston has its own little economies almost, like separate from each other. So the thing is that, one real estate agent just doesn't know the whole city.
Oh no.
He could use his expertise to kind of forecast or kind of, help you out. But, and I think I told you this, I'm from the South Side. I was living in League City when I started my real estate career. And I moved to the Woodlands area to start my career there because I did my research and I found out that that's where it was going to be at. And it is, obviously. It's the best
it's
the
really
best
good.
place in the Houston area. And so the thing is
One of them.
the thing is that I only did business on the north side for 7 years. I did not do any business in Pasadena, Baytown, Pearland, none of them. For 7 years, I lived only off of the north side area, right? And when I started seeing that there was another market, then I started going down there. And I figured out that it's its own market. Everywhere it's its own market. You can literally make money anywhere here, but you have to find that area and stick to it. Don't act like you're the Houston pro. You have to actually do some work. You have to do, and if you're gonna be, it's what I always tell my realtors. Look, don't go out there and sell people houses if you're not gonna buy one. Buy a dang house as soon as possible. Don't counsel people on investments if you haven't done one, right? Don't do any of these things without doing them first, because there's no way you can have that compassion or that care or you're not looking out for your client.
Exactly.
All right, guys, we got to go ahead and exit out. This was a great conversation. I'm going to go ahead and let you exit out, let everybody know where they can find you and your profession again.
Your podcast.
Your
And
podcast
thank you
as well,
so
yeah.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Jen Perez, you can find me at Jen Tex the Broker, and you can also find me at Her Opinion Show. Next week we're gonna have Nate on there, so you're gonna
Awesome.
come listen.
Flor Velasquez. You can find me on all my social medias, Flor Velasquez Realtor. And I'm the host for the Spanish podcast, Houston Sin Límites.
And I'm Nate Valderas. I'm the master broker for Lionsgate Realty. And I must admit that whenever you invited me to Her Opinion podcast, I immediately showed it to Giovanni, right?
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't go." He said, "Don't go." He said, "They're gonna ambush you, bro. Like they must have been watching your podcast, and they're gonna ambush you." And I said, "Nah, I went anyways." But I took my daughter, as like a backup,
Just in case.
So they say, "Oh, he's a dad, he's a girl dad, But
He's not really misogynistic.
But no, they treated me very well. I feel right at home with them, and their
Just
podcast
wait
was
till
really
the next
good.
one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what we're ambushing.
That was just a catch.
That's just a
Yeah,
catch.
right?
Yeah.
To get you in. The next one's going to ambush you. I'm Giovanni Frank with Lionsgate Realty here. I'm a realtor, and you can catch us live every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. This is the best show for your real estate and local news here in Houston. And yeah, until next time.